Kids are down. Wife's asleep.
So in 4 hours, you drank 15 Busch Lights.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So at 8 o'clock, that's when you checked out and your wife had to deal with you.
Night time.
Night time.
Yeah.
Crack a beer. Pour a bourbon. It's After Dark. On ESPN Louisville Plus. Subscribe and smash that freaking like button. Now here's Justin Soforo.
Soforo. How do you
Soforo.
say Soforo? No, it's fur. It's fur, not four. That's why it's fur, man.
Soforo.
There you go.
I mean, it's the same thing.
Soforo. I don't know. Soforo? Soforo, my bad. No, Soforo.
Here's Justin Soforo and Anna Tarullo.
Well, not so fast. Not today. Not today. It is me, Justin Soforo. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in to ESPN Louisville Plus After Dark. I'm Justin Soforo. Joining me today, and I really appreciate him for taking the time out of his evening to come talk a little U of L, a little what's going on around the landscape for Cardinal basketball. My man, of Louisville Sports Live, Ethan Moore. How you doing, sir?
What's going on, Jay? Happy to be here with you and always ready to talk some Louisville sports. And there's never a dull moment. There's never an off season when it comes to U of L athletics. We all know that.
No, it's funny. It's interesting. Actually, part of this, and I apologize. I know it's been a few weeks since After Dark has really been popping on every night. I tried to drag it out as long as I could early on in the offseason when U of L in UK had a lot of news because of the portal, and I'm thankful for the portal. But then sometimes we just all need a little bit of a break. But I noticed it was funny because I was trying to get like with Anna whenever she and I do the show, and I'm like, I apologize. U of L has all the news. Like UK doesn't really have that much, going on. I guess maybe I'm just not as fully injected into BBN, and I think that's okay. I don't think I need to care that much. She can bring that. But yeah, Louisville refuses to have a quiet off season, no matter what it is. And we're gonna get into that here in just a second. But Ethan, how things going? You doing all right throughout the final waning moments of your summer? Getting that bronze finished off?
You got that right. Oh, yeah. Certainly this weekend was not conducive for any bisking outside, that's for sure. Yeah, man, we're in the waning moments. So I have a training tomorrow and Tuesday, and then I have Wednesday through Friday off. I'm actually going to be co-hosting with Drew Wednesday morning. So that'll be fun. And then after that, man, the school year starts in earnest on the 10th. We got a couple more days, and we welcome the kids on the 12th. So I got a few days to work with some trainings and then about 3 days off, but then we're ready to hit the ground running after that.
So wait, tell me this. Are you co-hosting with him because Blank's still out of town? Does he have is this a multi-week thing for him? Is he doing, is it a month? How long is he going across the coast of Italy and France and all over the nude beaches? I don't know if you've heard that, if you've been paying attention.
Yeah, he's all over the place. Yeah, he's all over. Yeah. I think it was about 10 days. So I would expect him back perhaps later this week, but I'm not 100% sure. But I think it was around 10 days or so.
All right, well, I'll be looking forward to Ethan Moore on with Drew Diener on Wednesday morning for sure. Appreciate that. I guess just, it's been interesting. Lately, I've had a lot going on, and we're going to get into the Payton Siva story. But as you talked to me a little bit pre-show, and it was interesting. You were saying that your kids, your girls, right? You have girls, is that correct? All?
Yes, sir. Two of them.
Oh, all right, so I'm going to need some tips on balancing the parent work life with, I didn't realize, like, sports. Like, I had no idea. So I'll tell you this just real quick. My kid's starting at Cal this upcoming week or so, and he started doing football. And I didn't know it's called Mighty Mites at that age, but I didn't know football for first and second graders is almost as time consuming as like high school. I had no idea that's how serious a lot of these programs take it. So how do you find, so your kids play, you said lacrosse, is that right?
So they play, so my oldest just strictly plays field hockey. My youngest is now trying flag football, and she's been doing that for the last couple of weeks, as well as basketball and field hockey. So my oldest, she's fully engrossed in field hockey, so we know what kind of her schedule is. But my youngest, she's still trying to figure out what she really likes. I mean, she loves field hockey, she loves basketball, and she really likes flag football. So she's been doing that. But to your point, Justin, about with the Mighty Mites time, we've had practices 3 days a week for the past 3 weeks for flag football. Yeah. And so now with school approaching, it's going down to 2 starting this week. But my advice to you, man, is just you're going to have a meeting with the wife, and you're just going to have to start, putting it on the calendar, putting it in your phone, doing both, whatever, having a meeting about, all right, I'm going to take this. I'm taking, you got to pick up. I can do both. Like for LSL, there's a lot of times there's practices on Wednesdays. Yeah. Oftentimes I can drop off, go to the studio, do the show. My wife's going to pick them up. So it does take time. There's going to be, there'll be an occasion where you forget, you know what I mean? Like, they have practice today. I thought it was canceled, or no, it was rescheduled. I mean, everybody that has a kid in sports, that's happened several times, but you'll get into a groove, and then you'll kind of figure out what works best. I mean, my wife makes me put it into my phone because I always just like to ask to verify. Do we have practice today? Right? Check your phone. It's in the calendar, all that stuff. So, but we got a pretty good routine down now, and we're, I'm happy to drop and pick up. So I've been doing that for football. I'll go get my steps in, have me drop my kid off. She'll practice football for about an hour and a half. I'll get my steps in. I'll kind of watch her a little bit and then pick her up, and we'll head home.
See, I got the problem. I'm new to this, right? So and also it's my son getting into football, and it's first grade, but my kid, he got the start. So they're allowing him to start on the team because he's massive. Like, he's the second biggest kid on the team, and not just like me and massive, but like he's tall. He's already he's tall and strong for his age, but he's still 6 in his mind. So, it's getting across that line. But like, we go out to these practices, and I don't know how you do it, or how maybe you had to do, like you said, separate, go for a walk in between while you're watching it, kind of thing. But like, I'm there, all the other dads are with me, pulling up with our chairs out there, and they had to send us a letter to say, guys, you gotta let us coach, because like we're over there like yelling, no, like correcting.
Oh
each
no,
of our kids
you did
in
that.
between.
Oh no, yeah, man.
Okay, well here's the problem. They're first grade. They run up the hill to us between every break. So like they had to they built a fence up. They had to do all this stuff to separate them. And when it comes to me, I'm like, here, buddy, here, take your chin strap off. Here's your water. Here's all this stuff. It's hard. I've learned my lesson. I'm backing off. There are moments that I feel like I need to tell him to get his bleeping gear and put a little bit more effort. And that's all. But I'm working to get better, and I apologize. But hey, this is the
you're learning. You're learning. It's fine.
This is the program that produces Jahide Brown. You know what I mean? They produce players like him. They got Bama and other teams coming after their guys. It's serious business down here. Also, I haven't been on here either, and then we'll get into it, about my guy, Vince Maro, coming at me. Maybe after I made some comments on Twitter. I don't know if you saw that either.
You made some comments on Twitter? No.
There were some comments made. Everybody that's worried, it's okay. Vince Maro and I are good. We are homies now. We are friends. We agree now. I did tell him that I wasn't super happy about the KSR L's down photo shoot that he does. I thought I did suggest to him that maybe while you're getting paid by the University of Louisville, maybe it's not a great look. I did suggest it, but we'll see if he takes my advice ever and goes away from that. But
well, Soforo, I may have had a similar conversation with Coach as well, because I was also of the same mindset, and also as well, we're good. There was an understanding about I made a point too. Like, I didn't like the picture with the biggest U of L hater out there. And then when you take a picture with the biggest U of L hater out there, they're going to do the L's down, and that just puts you in a bad situation from an optics perspective.
Yeah. When you choose to take part in that, and at least, like I said, I'd be okay with it. And I understand he does the point thing, but like throwing L's up to make it, that makes it more fun to me. And instead, it looks like you're endorsing it, which I think you kind of are endorsing it. And whatever, I'm not going to get fully into it. But we talk about players and coaches, and I understand I'm not asking you While I may hate the University of Kentucky, I'm not asking you or people that have formerly worked for the University of Kentucky to hate Kentucky. One thing I will say, though, is that we've had coaches who call it Camelot, but still it's flipping the birds up every time he was going there. So, Rick, while I knew he loved it, he was still flipping the bird on his way out. So I don't know. Yeah. There's ways to handle this, especially when you're getting paid by one of the universities to coach their team. Speaking of which, that's what we're talking about now is Rick Pitino and poaching away a coach at the University of Louisville. I know that there are lots of feelings and emotions after this, but basically I believe it was, and let me pull it up first. Was it Adam Zagori, I believe, that reported it first, saying that former Louisville star and current Louisville assistant coach Payton Siva is expected to join Rick Pitino's staff at St. John's as an assistant per sources, and it's confirmed. Siva helped lead Louisville to the 2013 NCAA title. I guess
that's right, he did.
Yes, sir. And before we get too deep into it, just your initial reaction when that news was coming down regarding Payton Siva and his move to join Rick in New York.
Well, so I saw that. I think it came out originally that Pitino was targeting him this past Wednesday, and I had the same mindset then that I do now. Like, if he were to go to St. John's, then more power to him. I'm happy for him. I wish him all the success in the world, except, of course, if we play them on Thanksgiving night. But, I mean, he is a national champion. He's the two-time Final Four participant. And in my view, when you contribute like that to your university, then you're going to have of course, you can make your decision however you see fit regardless. But for me, when you're a national champion and you've been to the Final Four twice, like, you have more wiggle room, so to speak, to branch out. And the fact is, it's with your former college coach. I get it 100%. I'm not mad. Like, the timing is off, of course, but I understand it 100%. If you look at Pitino's coaching tree, and it looks like that Payton is serious about honing in on this craft. I mean, you can't pass up this opportunity. Apparently, I read where he's going to have maybe a little more responsibility. Of course, he's going to get paid a little more as well. But he has certainly earned that chance to coach. And it's one of those things, like, from my view, you can't pass that up. He's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best to ever do it. I like you, I don't like that Camelot comment, and he's certainly made me mad several times throughout his coaching career. But this is, I wish Payton well. He's beloved here. He's always going to be a Louisville legend, and I think he's going to do really, really well. And why not learn from one of the best coaches in the history of the game? And I think you credit Coach Kelsey. He's certainly given him a platform and room to grow. And now, he's done a good enough job for Pitino to poach him.
Chris Burge asked how old, I think he meant to say how old is Pitino. He's 73 years old, 73 years young. For a vampire, that's he's got a long way to go. He'll be coaching into his hundreds easily. Easily he'll be into the triple digits before Pitino decides to give it up. I do want to say this because I know, okay, let me just go ahead and address it head on. And I'm not trying to just address my Twitter account. If you want to follow me at Justin Soforo on Twitter, you can follow Ethan Moore at _Ethan Moore. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, make sure you do that. We're streaming on there as well. But when the news broke, I said something along the fact of, like, he'd be stupid not to take it. I can't blame him. And then I'll touch on the second part here in a second. But needless to say, Louisville fans had their feelings about the comment that I had to make. And I understand. I just put it out there quickly because I said that eventually, or at some point, or in some fashion, there is a little bit of a reflection on PK. And I get it. Like, let me get it out of the way, though. I understand. Rick Pitino is one of the greatest coaches. I think, personally, the greatest coach I've seen in the game of college basketball of all time. And in my time watching him, if I could have any coach in my stall, I'm picking Rick every time. If I could have Rick come back right now in this moment, I would do it. That's just me. And I also understand, you look at his coaching tree. I mean, we can go through the long list of successful head coaches that have come there, and we've seen what they've been able to do and where he's gotten them. We've seen guys with little to no experience get to the next level. We've seen guys who wanted to rejuvenate a little bit, but also, like, I'm also thinking about like Kevin Keats, guys who are successful at a lower level, come in there and get their job, and then however it worked out, but he ended up made a Final Four run. Like, he's like, you know what I mean? Having these successes. I guess my question real quick is regarding Payton Siva, the assistant coach. And there's not a lot of me, I feel like most of the emotion that comes out of me of losing him or being sad is losing one of my favorite players of all time. Having a guy who I personally have an affinity for, a guy who went to many parties alongside me because I went to U of L. I graduated. I went from 2008 to 2012, and I graduated. I had a victory lap there in that 2012 season to get me through most of that into the 2013 season and attend every game. But so there's a lot of just emotional investment. Love Payton Siva, the guy, the player, all that. But at the same time, I guess my question is, how integral was Payton Siva as an assistant coach? I know we talked about PK kind of gave him the job of kind of heading up some press, and we're developing a press last season and working with the players there, maybe some with the point guards. I don't pretend to know everything. How important was Payton Siva, the coach, to this team last year, and then for what we were probably expecting to work with for this season?
Well, first of all, Justin, you had a much better window of attending U of L than I did. I was 97 to 01.
Oh,
and that was Coach Crum's, God rest his soul, his last 4 years. Not a lot of success there. That was we had Ron Cooper for a season, went 1-10 that 1 year in football. It's neither here nor there. But in terms of
Crackthorpe, I did have Crackthorpe like a year or two of Crackthorpe, so there was that. Well, so there's one little thing.
Fair enough.
Otherwise, Charlie, yeah.
Oh, you had a little sweet run there as well. So, I mean, for me, it's you're losing your third, fourth assistant. From a tactician standpoint, I think Payton is very, very talented as a coach. I think he has a very bright future ahead of him. You were correct. He was working with the guards, and PK had mentioned that he was helping with implementing some of the zone that we saw later on this past season. So from a tactician standpoint and another voice in the room, when you have somebody that was as successful as he was in the college game and professionally, he is going to be an asset on your coaching staff. So, you remember Coach Anderjack earlier this season was brought in as the defensive coordinator. And then you had the assistant coach that came over from Clemson. So those were the first. So they're both associate head coaches. So, I think, like I said earlier, I think Payton's going to have a little bit bigger role at St. John's. But, certainly from another voice in the room, another perspective of things, that'll hurt. I think overall, I don't know. If his name wasn't Payton Siva, Justin, would we be talking about this at this juncture? I mean, honestly, probably not. Maybe a little bit, but not too much.
It would probably be one of the coaches. Who's the guy who went with Cloman? Who I can't even remember his name now.
Exactly. Thomas Carr.
Yes,
Thomas Carr.
It would very much be in that level.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, there is valued importance because of who he is and what he means to this program, right?
Absolutely.
I'm not going to kid myself there. There's part of me that asks this, though. Why? I mean, I know why now, because the guy left who went to join Little Rick from St. John's, and there was a spot open. Was this, is this a move? And I know the relationship that Pitino and him have. Is this Pitino is spotting a gem in a player that he knows that can be one of those next great coaches? Is it? There's a few ways I'm looking at it. Is it that? Is it you can kind of take a swipe at Louisville any way you want to do it. If he still has hurt feelings, hey, I can take one of their coaches. I'm going to do, what I mean? Is it a little bit of, I'm going to take your coach, PK, that kind of thing? Or is it, and this is where I get myself into trouble, right? Because I try to read the room as a whole and I try to look at it. And over the course of this summer, a summer that started off I felt like we had a tremendous bounce back. From the end of the basketball season, that loss, that kind of just a little bit of a deflating loss there to Michigan State, but then you went right into the portal and you cleaned up early with Badunga and Shellstad, and we were feeling good. You got some other good key pieces to fit in there, and then unfortunately, it didn't flounder out, but it was a little bit of I was waiting for that just one more kind of key piece to make me feel. And it's one of the things I said about this upcoming season is that Louisville basketball right now is going to have, there's kind of that excuse in that back pocket of, well, PK is expected to be really, really good this year, but he didn't get Blackwell. He didn't have Momcilovic or one of those guys that really put you in that top 5 to 10. You should go and compete for a national title. I'm not willing to make those excuses for them, but that kind of is built in a little bit already because of that. That being said, since that time, then we've had the drama and the fallout with the Bahamas and not having the game and the attitude from BK and the way that he the whole way that he went about it put a bad taste in people's mouth. And I know the comparison to Chris Mack isn't always loved by people, but there's a lot of comparisons there to be made between him and Chris Mack. And I'll say this. I'm somewhat of a Chris Mack apologist. I actually would have. I feel like he kind of got not done dirty, but it was an uphill battle against Neely Bendapudi, and I feel like there's some things that just went really poorly for him. But I still had a lot of respect for what he did. He got Louisville basketball to number 1 in the nation, and then if it were for COVID, I don't know how that season would have worked out. And then after that, because of all the other infighting political drama between him and the university and Bendapudi and all this, we saw how it fell out. That being said, Pat Kelsey's got a lot of the Chris Mack attitude. I've noticed there's a lot of that similarity to me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe nobody else has seen it, but I've seen it a little bit in that, the way that he talks when he's asked certain questions, when there's pushback and it's not just full on do whatever you want. You're the big boy in the room, you know what I mean, kind of thing. That's been something that's just it's weighing on me a little bit, and something that I wondered if and maybe this is my hot take. Okay, this is my hot take of the day.
Here we go.
And Eddie Sweeney, you steal it. No, he can come up with his own. But I wondered what if some sort of this is also Payton kind of not saving his career, but maybe he's in a spot where he kind of reads the tea leaves in the room. You start to feel a little it's a little bit tumultuous for Louisville basketball right now. I just wonder if and I think it's easy to really just toss that aside because the idea of it's Rick Pitino. It's Rick Pitino, the coaching tree. He's the greatest coach, whatever. But if he were to make this move anywhere else, and I know he said he wouldn't, but I don't really know that. I don't know that anybody else is really calling for Payton Siva. You know what I mean? What if there's more to it behind the scenes than we really think of? Maybe this is just the first sign of it. And maybe a few years from now, we're talking about it like we were with Chris Mack.
Justin, man, I'll be honest with you. I think it's just Rick Pitino, man. I mean, honestly, I do. And I believe Payton that if it was any other
show, guys, we'll talk to you later. We'll just shut it down there. All right. That was a great conversation. No, I'm just kidding.
See you. Thanks for having me. No, I do think it is just Pitino. I certainly believe Payton that if it was any other job, it would be a hard no. And while Kelsey has a lot to prove in year 3, I think that he's done a good job at solidifying the foundation right now. 51-19 overall. You beat your arch rival. You made it to the tournament both years. Now, that is not the standard. You won a game in the tournament this past year where you didn't win one in year 1. So you're making progress. However, it was still a disappointment because you didn't go to the second weekend. But and from my view, Justin, Kelsey has done enough in his 2 years to to dispel any of that right now. Now, if it continues to struggle and like we don't make it to the second weekend this year, and you have another instance where you're missing some key pieces to get to that next level, then we can have that conversation. But for right now, I think it is all his old coach that he won a national championship with had an opening, and he wants, and I know he respects Payton, the job that he did on the court, and then the job that he was doing with us with Pat Kelsey. And I'm sure that Kelsey and Pitino spoke, and they were probably one-upping each other with all the great attributes that Payton possesses. So I think that is, for me, I don't think there's anything else to look into about that. I think it was just the timing is bad. There's no doubt about that. But I think this was just an opportunity to he had an opening on his staff, and he's familiar with Payton Siva, and some other people have made this point, Justin, and I think it's worth noting. Perhaps part of it is because of the tragic loss of Kenny Klein, and he needed like that kind of that bridge from that era. I'm not saying that was the reason, but potentially it could be a reason to kind of keep that connection on that bench, on that sideline with him. So I think that could go into it a little bit, not a huge factor, but potentially something, because how revered Kenny was, God rest his soul, to Coach Pitino. So perhaps, but I think, had he gone anywhere else though, Justin, I'd be upset, to be honest with you. If he went to Xavier with Richard, I'd be upset. I'm not upset in this situation. I think truly it was an opportunity that he couldn't pass up.
There is a big part of me that that did come up to me initially. Just having lost Kenny Klein and the way that he lost him here a few weeks ago, and you're about to start back the school season or the school semester, and then you're going to have to walk back into, if I'm Rick Pitino and I'm in his shoes, and you have to walk back into St. John's, a place where you just had to spend the last year with one of your best friends in there. Sorry, excuse me. With one of your best friends, and to realize that you're about to face that alone. Not alone. He has his people, but it's just Kenny Klein for all intents and purposes, and the way that he spoke to him. And if you haven't, if anybody missed the eulogy that he gave to Kenny Klein, go play that on repeat. That's one of the best. He's one of the best. To me, I think one of the great orators of our time, at least in sports. But he definitely. 100%. Yeah, it's one of those things that I got emotional, and I never really met Kenny Klein, but I know his face and I see him. But Payton Siva, you go back and watch those videos. I still have, so much of the 2013 run that I rewatch, or the highlight videos that Crumb's Revenge and people did. And you remember all the times it's Payton Siva and Russ, and those two guys, and the way that they, what they got out of Rick Pitino. To me, I felt like it was those two guys that brought back the quote unquote, blank gets land based for it, but the Louisville man, Rick Pitino. That was like those guys were the keys to that. So I completely understand that. I could see how having Payton Siva, who no matter, the short few couple times I've ever spoken to him, or, he wouldn't know me from anybody, but at the same time, just to see what a light he is in the room. But just down to earth, just a good guy. So I'm happy for them. And let's be honest, I've kind of adopted. You and other people may shun me, but me and Creighton and a few others have kind of adopted St. John's as our 2B team, because it feels like to me when I watch St. John's, that's Louisville basketball. That's Louisville basketball that I've known for so long. Like I'm watching it.
Justin, I was with you. I was with you, man. There until the Big Blue Madness, Bravo Fest. I couldn't. That did. Now I'm not going to necessarily root against them, but I'm not going to root for him anymore after that.
I got mad. I do remember when that happened, and he donated the money. I did get angry. I did unfollow Rick Pitino on Twitter. I didn't know what to tell anybody until this moment. I did. I was like, I can't see this anymore. He's followed again though. Now, like I think there's those moments. Like I understand it. I get the love for UK. I don't personally get it, but I understand it's a place that you have success, and it means a lot to him. Just all that. But it's just then I have to go deal with James Strebel. So it's like, you know what I mean? That's kind of where we sit with it. Oh, guys, and everybody who's been watching the video, who's tuned in for this live, do me a favor, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, go to the YouTube channel, like and subscribe on there. Helps us. We have a plan that's being laid out currently to bring a lot more content on the digital scene of things, and we are now going to get back into that. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in as always. I'm trying to think if there's anything else really on this that I want to say. There are a couple questions I had in my mind that I wondered, like, how long did this take for Payton in his mind when it was brought to him, I guess, by Rick? Like, was it just a quick, yeah, oh yeah, of course, I'm out, peace out, or was there much of a fight? Because the way I look at it is, like, at the same time, Rick could have been the guy to give him his initial opportunity, and he didn't, and PK did, and PK, like, there's part of me where I've had different circumstances with somebody I like more, but then other people have given me the opportunity that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So I feel pretty loyal to them. You know what I mean? And it's also, this is the town. I mean, his wife is from here. He went to school here. Obviously, his dad moved here and stayed here for a long time. I don't know if he's still here, but I know he had moved here and stayed here long, around that time and following the championship and all that. They kind of planted roots here. So, I imagine it wasn't, I would hope it wasn't a super easy decision to make, but it is what it is. It's just, to me, it feels like a pretty big hit. No,
I don't think it was. I think he truly had to think about it because, for the reasons that you just mentioned, his family planted their roots here after his professional career was over. Mm-hmm. And he was a staple in this community. I mean, he is a celebrity in Louisville, and he always will be. And that's what happens when you win a national title. He'll forever be a Louisville legend. So I do think that he had to think about it. Is he going to uproot his family and go to New York City? I mean, that's totally different from obviously the community of Louisville. But this is professionally. You have to we have to set our Louisville red glasses down for a moment, and he's going from a really good coach to work for an elite coach. Yeah. And hopefully, I think we all hope that Pat Kelsey can get to that level at some point. But in this stage of the game, and in this stage of Siva's career, I mean, this was a smart move, and one that you quite frankly just couldn't pass up. If you're having a Hall of Famer, one of the best to ever do it, offer you a spot, the same coach you won a title with, I mean, you've got to go and seize that opportunity. And who knows, maybe he'll cut his teeth, work his way up the ranks, become a small college coach, be successful, and be coaching against Louisville one day down the road. Who knows? But what better way, if he wants to truly, work on his craft and springboard his coaching career, than to work for Coach Pitino.
I hate to do this. I was going to ask because I was listening to some other people discuss this conversation over the last day or two, or since the news broke. And sometimes they're just fans being fans and just saying crazy and wild stuff. Him going there, and maybe he does, maybe he gets whatever. Would you have any interest in Payton Siva, Louisville basketball head coach, one day? Would that ever be something after happened?
He's got if he's winning at a high level at various stops, sure. But I mean, yeah, it's way too early. Sure, I mean, if he's a successful coach, absolutely. And
how successful does he have to be to get your approval? Because look at this. Kenny Payne, I understand he never was a head coach, right? That's the key. He was a very, very well-established assistant coach. I still didn't want it. A lot of people didn't want it. I don't think you wanted it to begin with, right? I'm not going to speak for you, but at the same time, never taking a head coaching job. But then we look at, I look at Syracuse, right? McNamara, right? It's McNamara, right? Who's the head coach currently? Yeah, he had a successful run at Siena, well thought of. But to me personally, I'd be I don't know if that's good enough to get you the Louisville job, even performing as well as you did. I understand Syracuse right now they're coming off of their own, not Kenny Payne, but their own former head coach who just kind of floundered.
Former player, head coach didn't work out. Yeah. I mean, I would have to say if he's at a smaller school, multiple tournament appearances, multiple conference championships, And then perhaps maybe he's going to a mid-major instead of a low major, a couple of, several tournaments, getting to the second weekend a couple of times, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But this is, I think we can be happy for Payton. And then, and I know he's going to understand. There's a texter up above. I cannot see their name, but potentially to play St. John's and the players there. Yeah, Thanksgiving night. If we beat Texas Tech and they beat Oregon, we are playing St. John's on Thanksgiving night, and Payton's going to understand. Everybody's going to be rooting for Louisville. They're not going to be rooting for St. John's and Pitino in that instance. I will root for St. John's and Pitino and Siva when they're playing the team up the road. That, I'm all about that for sure. I'll be checking scores. I watch their games. Soforo, I will admit that. And he's a hell of a coach, and I enjoy the style of basketball that they play. I mean, I do. But it's almost like the wind blows, dude. Like, you could ask me in 1 month, what's your thoughts on Pitino, and I'll just swoon for him. Yeah. And then you'll ask me another month, and then it's coming off the heels of Big Blue Madness when he was just, all that stuff that they said about him, and then he just goes back groveling. It does bother me. Just how grotesque
the things that were said and done. It wasn't just he left, bleep him. It was grotesque, horrible things said on public airways. Like, literally, what was it, 1080 or 840, whatever that show was on. The stuff that said, and then he goes on that show that has the lowest common denominator audience and horrible people lambasting me now on Fridays. Anyway, I had to get that plugged in. But at the same time, after the stuff they've said and the fact that he goes on there, and it's crazy to me. That is the stuff that is a hard fight for me, because it's like you see the person you love, you're like, come on, man, quit making these dumb decisions, and then they do it. He's so smart otherwise when it comes to the game of basketball, the success he's had, but then he goes and takes the smooches from K, whatever. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying their name. But and then Swaggy Style, what's up, Swaggy? Says, Justin, he didn't think twice PK is a bum, and you know it. Whatever, Swaggy. I still want that hat. If you get those guys, I know you. What was it? State Line? Is that what it is? State Line? I apologize.
Is it State Road or State Line?
It's a hat brand. State.
Oh, I saw them. Yeah, they're fresh. They're real sharp. Oh yeah,
the script cards one with whatever. I need that one. I need that one. I also am doing a terrible job by not remembering exactly how to say.
I think it's State Line. I think
State Line.
It is.
All right, but yeah, no. Anyway, it's something. I'm just sorry. I'm looking at my notes, and my last note for this, and it's something I was not going to say, but it just made me laugh again. I put, are we worried about Rick and Payton on the loose in New York? Are we worried about too? Because if you remember in 2013, the night of the championship game, the DMs that Payton slid into, I believe her name was Jenna something. Anyway, it was more of a not poking fun.
I don't ever recall that. Honestly, I don't ever recall that. I was in my own celebration mode in Atlanta that night. So, to each their own.
You really don't remember that at all?
No, I'm being completely honest. Yeah,
I don't know if it was in between it, but I know some point Payton had slid in the DMs of some porn star, and it got out. So anyway, maybe it's not the time to bring it up, but it just made me laugh because I was like, oh, Rick and Payton now, just killing it in New York. Anyway, sorry, it's a little lowbrow for you, Ethan. Okay, let me see. I did have one last little bit before we get you out of here. I know it's a school night. It's a work day, work night, whatever. But I did want to get your take on, this is probably a good timing given it's a Payton Siva story, but the Louisville, Michigan series matchup there. What you thought about that getting arranged, and how what you're hoping to see from it? Well, obviously, besides UVL wins.
That's first and foremost, dude. Love the non-conference schedule overall. Love that it's a 2-game series. Certainly Indianapolis is a short trip. Yeah, I get it. But you know what? If it's going to be a neutral site, they're not going to let us use Rupp ever. And not that I would want to even go in there. But, it's a great series. And overall, man, like this non-conference schedule has Coach Crum vibes. We'll play anybody, anywhere, whenever. Now, of course, from a selfish perspective, I would love to have more elite home games, right? I mean, we have Texas, but that's about it in terms of the non-conference games at home. Of course, you got team up the road, on the road, Memphis State on the road, and then you have the Players Era in Vegas, Michigan at a neutral site, Baylor at a neutral site. So that would be the only want, I should say, is to have maybe more of these games at home. But overall, I absolutely love it. We're going to know just how good this team is early and often before we even get to ACC play.
Yeah, it's. I wonder how the fallout of Dusty May, leaving and all that, and then did they have much shakeup, or did most of those players stay at Michigan?
I think there was only one player that left.
Yeah.
And he was solid. He wasn't like a game changer, but he was solid. But that was it. Dusty May not being on the sideline, you would think, based on both coaches at those programs now, we would have the advantage on the sideline.
Oh, yeah, I would think so. I mean, especially too, even if he has all those pieces, we saw what happened when Rick Pitino was unceremoniously fired, and David Padgett had to do what he could to hold that team together, and that team had pieces. And probably, and David did an amazing job for somebody who's never been a head coach and doing what he had to do. But that team should have won. And no way that the game against the team down the road should not have been a 30-point embarrassment. Sure.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. I remember that one.
That one was hard to stomach. Sorry. One more that I have to ask you. I don't know if you listened to the take much at all, but Nick.
Do.
Okay. Did you hear Nick's vomit-worthy his endorsement of Kenny Payne coaching for Arkansas in the Baja Mar, and how he wants Kenny Payne to win every single game that he plays down there?
No.
Yeah. It's
dear. Oh no.
Yeah, Nick is full in on the KP. I mean, he didn't want, give him year 3. Let's see what Kenny Payne can get, what he could do for Louisville.
Did he really want that? Didn't he really want that?
I know I say it a lot. I've said it so much that I'm not sure if it's true or not at this point. But I know I've said it a lot. But I mean,
I don't think so. Oh okay. Gosh.
Yeah. But anyway, that was something that Nick said. I didn't know if you had any opinion on that. By the way, also Chris Curry says, happy KCD, Bellarmine alum Pedro Bradshaw takes down La Familia. I was watching, I guess, the replay they had put on there shortly. I guess they played it again after this evening, because did they play it during the day or something yesterday?
I think it was earlier this afternoon. I didn't. I like the TBT, man. I really do like it. I love it that it's in the summer. It's the perfect sports window. But after the Ville lost, I stopped paying attention.
Well, I also will say I thought that it was over like a week ago. I didn't know that there were more games, because I thought after they played Kansas or whenever that was, I thought that was the end. But I guess, are there 2 brackets that converge? Is that what happened?
So there was one that was the alumni bracket, and then there was the other one that was just former players. So then they might have played, and apparently this team that Davis Steele or whatever who won, apparently they have been playing together for a few years, but they don't have an alumni. So La Familia came out of the alumni bracket, and then Davis Steele came out of the non-alumni bracket, and that's why it culminated in the title game. So they each won. I think they had a best of 3 as well, when they each won the same amount of games, and then of course they got home court advantage because they sold the most tickets, and it's a shame they lost.
I do. I guess I do wonder if Steve and Willie Cauley-Stein are still going on that mandate. We were told that they'd be going to Cardinal Club, but I don't know if Willie Cauley-Stein will be able to pay for it now. So unless Steve's gonna pony up, we'll see. But I do enjoy that. But it's my one thing about the TBT to me is I almost wish it was like a summer league instead of like a tournament. I mean, I know it's
get
literally
that.
tournaments in the name, but I almost wish it was like a league that could go for a little bit and just have alumni, so we could really kind of enjoy it a bit more. Like what sucked about this time is, and I understand why they did it. You try to squeeze every penny out of Louisville and Kentucky fans going to those games. If you play them right away, then you know it's going to happen. But at the same time, to me, I'd rather let them, maybe play. I don't know, play like a 8 to 10 game schedule. And then however they're ranked after that, they're winning, then play a tournament from that or something to give a little bit more. I think it's more, and I understand they're players that are my age and I know how out of shape I am, let alone these guys too, or that are even older than me for some of them. So like, I can only imagine that's got to be a difficult task to ask them to play the games that they're playing already.
But could you imagine the logistics though of getting those guys there even longer?
Yeah,
because both teams had trouble having guys that would play the full 3 games or the full tournament. Yeah, I would love that. I would love that. I just think logistically,
I'm just selfish. I'm a selfish fan that I just want the pass back. You know what I mean? I want the I wanted Edgar Sosa to be there. I wanted guys like that. I wanted it's Rick Pitino wanting Payton Siva to join him in New York. That's what it is. We're all. No matter how much we try to, say Bernard or escape it, we're all a little nostalgic for the good old days.
Oh, that's why I love going to Freedom Hall. I mean, I love it. I had, always look up at section 314. That's where I had season tickets, and that's where we were to close out Freedom Hall and that epic Syracuse win. I tweeted out when I saw that highlight, that Kyle Kuric alley-oop. The floor, Justin, shook underneath my feet for the first and only time. Like, that has never happened before up in the upper level concourse of Freedom Hall. Like, the floor shook because the fans were so loud. Just one magical game in that great arena. I'll go back there whenever there's a U of L related event. I love it.
Yep. No, it was magic. It's one of those things too. Like, and it's funny because I have more questions I keep wanting to ask you before we end up wrapping it. But I was there for that. That's again part of like what we were saying. I had a really lucky time to be a student at the University of Louisville, to go from 2008 through 2012 and winning the national title, and that's how it ended. But to be there for the final season of Freedom Hall, to have those tickets, those are cool, such cool tickets. I still have most of them. I know I have the Kirk one in my drawer somewhere. I need to set up somewhere, but those, and another thing of why I hate that we've done away with physical tickets, because I just love to be able to keep those, and especially for games that mean so much, to be able to have that to put somewhere.
I got to show you this real quick. Okay, other way. National championship ticket.
Yes. See,
and then here you go. And here is my bar. I'm going to try to get this right because you just mentioned it.
Thank you.
All these tickets, Doug.
See, that's sick. Okay. All of
that. All that, Dan. I got
see some from that season. I see them. That gold outline. I remember that one very fondly. Man, that's awesome. That's really cool. We need to get like a bar tour on EL Plus one day of what you guys said there. Go through some of those tickets. But no, it's just sorry. The one thing that it made come up though, when we talk about, you said about U of L events and stuff like that there, the talk about Louisville, Cincinnati, was that game postponed that they were going to play Cincinnati at Freedom Hall and all that?
Yes.
Do you want that to happen, or like because you said you would be there you would want to do something like that, but do you want an official Louisville game?
Yeah, I would. I talked to enough people that said that Freedom Hall is just not in the shape to host a major game like that. And to be honest with you, I would be on board if they just went back up to Heritage Bank, split the tickets again. You know what I mean? Just like, I want to play, Cincinnati, especially if they're good. That their new coach's name escapes me, but I think he's going to do a really, really good job. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming that game would be in Nashville, since it's going to be a neutral site, or Indianapolis. It has to be one of those two locations. But I would, and I think if you ask the fans, if you split the tickets, or you give Louisville more, or give Louisville fans more of the tickets this time around, because it would be the Louisville side of the neutral series, I think most people would say, let's just play back in Cincinnati then.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
with more tickets given out to U of L fans.
So I definitely want the game to happen. I guess to me, the big question that I was also trying to ask was, do you want to see another game in Freedom Hall, or do you want to let the final game be the final game? Like, that's something that I fight with.
Let's let the final game be the final game.
Okay. I think I'm with you on that. I understand, like, and I also get after so long, it's like, oh, maybe we can go. Maybe you can go back. You know what I mean? Like, it's been so long, let's do it. But even now, it's been 16 years, right? And I'm not ready. It still feels like that was yesterday. Maybe that's just me getting old. Oh my gosh,
16. When you say it like that, my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
That's how crazy it is.
Oh my goodness.
I noticed since my wife and I had kids, and like since COVID, time flies now. Like, it's so much faster, and especially since I graduated. Like, when I graduated in 2012, 2013, time started to speed up, immeasurably. And so now, whenever I say it, I'm like, oh, holy crap, that's almost 2 decades ago. And I'm like, it's wild to me. But okay, good. Yeah, I agree with you. Let it lie. Let it be the end of an era. And that's good. The TBT and stuff like that's great at Freedom Hall. Like, we can have that kind of stuff. Elias Jordan said, and Davis Steel is a Kentucky company. I didn't are they? I didn't know that.
Good thing. Cool.
But cool.
All right.
Real quick, and we can get out of here. I just want to shout out to one of our sponsors. Let's go with Boom Boss Pizza, the very best crafted for you pizza, beer, and shareables. You can get in the Highlands, Westport Village, J-Town, Jeffersonville, and D-Town. Make sure you check out Boom Boss Pizza today for all your sports events as well. And we appreciate their support and keeping ESPN Louisville Plus going. Ethan Moore, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I appreciate you taking the time to kind of react to the news there and help us, but I hope you'd definitely be willing to hop in some more when we have, especially once the season gets started. There'll be a lot more to talk about. We got Louisville football to come up. I am, like I said, now I didn't realize that I'd be sports dad. I didn't know this would be something that I would really enjoy, is being the dad. Well, I knew I enjoyed being the fat, lazy guy sitting there yelling at or enjoying other people play sports. I knew I enjoyed that. I just didn't know I'd enjoy the dad part of it. But
there's nothing like it, dude. There's nothing like it.
No, it really isn't. So I appreciate it. Good luck at the start of the school year that you've got this week. But we'll be listening to LSL it's still Wednesdays 7 to 9, right? Until we have any kind of issues that come up. I don't know if we have something.
Yes, sir.
Or something like that.
Generally with basketball season, we kind of fluctuate a little bit. Yeah. Wednesdays 7 to 9.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Any final words before we get out of here? Mainly just because I forgot that I had to grab the graphics real quick to close it out, and I needed to swim a little bit.
No, I mean, just a food for thought. I was talking to a friend at the gym today, and I said it is this upcoming season for football and men's basketball. It is imperative for both programs to have monster seasons with conference realignment potential. You got the Protect College Sports Act. Hopefully that'll get I'm of the mindset I want it passed just to stabilize the conferences. I think it would go a long way to do that. But it is imperative, man, for both of those programs to have stellar seasons this year to make those programs the most attractive they could be in case chaos ensues with conferences a few years down the road.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, if you haven't already, smash the like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos, and make sure you tune in to LSL Wednesdays at 7. All right. We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.